Hello, everyone. Here's your weather hazard briefing for Friday, June 24th. We have a few showers and storms again today around the area, but we start the drying trend and much warmer temperatures coming, especially the first part of next week. It may not necessarily be dry out there. We do have a little bit of moisture moving in. Storms today, we'll see some gusty winds. A few of the stronger storms yesterday, a little bit of small hail, and just a pretty brief, strong downpour in a few spots. That's possible again today. We're not looking at widespread heavy rain. We're not looking at severe weather across the area today. Overall, the winds will be gusty across the region for this afternoon and this evening. Temperatures a little bit cooler in the general sense tomorrow or today and tomorrow, but we'll be back into the 90s. And like we said, the first part of next week will likely be the warmest during the next several days here across central and eastern Idaho. Satellite loop shows we have clouds with this wave shifting eastward across the area today. Behind that, high pressure builds in, and we'll start the warming process as we head into the first part of next week. We've highlighted a little higher impact across the Snake Plain today and tomorrow. For today, we do have a lake wind advisory out for anyone on American Falls Reservoir. More than likely, we will need one with the winds shifting to the north and east tomorrow morning. We have a lower wind threshold, and we'll be meeting that. It looks like for especially the earlier part of the day tomorrow, northeast wind event across the American Falls Reservoir. Otherwise, a few showers and storms across the area today. We might see a few sneaking into the Magic Valley earlier on today, and also maybe a few up across Lemhi County later on today. But most likely, storms will be across the South Hills early on today, and then we'll see a decent chance across the Southeast Highlands this morning and a little better chance later on today. We do have showers up in the Eastern Highlands now. We have another round coming in later. Then we start to see, with that little limited monsoon moisture coming in across the Magic Valley and the Southeast Highlands, a few showers. And this is probably going to fluctuate a little bit day to day, depending on where the moisture is and the timing of where any particular little pocket of moisture and these little weak systems coming through the flow. One thing we did start mentioning, excessive heat. We may have some issues creeping into the Magic Valley on Monday. Tuesday, that looks like across the Snake Plain, Magic Valley into the South Hills. That's not a guarantee right now. We'll just have to see how temperatures progress as we go through the period. It does look like, though, by Tuesday, a little better chance with the wave coming through of some showers and storms, especially over some of the higher elevations. So where are things headed for today in terms of where we're seeing those showers and storms? Across the eastern and southeast highlands, even back into the South Hills, some lingering showers and maybe a lightning strike early on today. This little push shifts off to the south and to the east during the day. So we go into this afternoon as the next storm approaches, another little push coming in towards the central mountains, also up across the, mainly going into the Island Park area, the eastern highlands. We'll see that shifting through. Another little round down closer to the Utah border, we might see some storms up as far as Soda Springs, Grace, maybe up to Blackfoot Reservoir this afternoon, this evening. But once that wave clears out, we're going to be pretty much mostly dry as we go through the next several days. And like I said, once we get into next week and see how limited or not limited that monsoon push coming in with the pattern developing, we will see exactly if we have a better shot of showers and thunderstorms during that particular time frame. For today, temperatures into the mid-upper 70s, low 80s for the lower elevations. Only around 70 in Stanley today, mid-70s in the Wood River Valley, 60s and 70s if you're headed up into the high country. Humidity today, we're looking at humidity, highest over the southern and eastern highlands, and that's where we have a little bit of moisture today. And on the backside of that wave, we get the lower humidities moving in across the area, including portions of the central mountains. There are those winds this afternoon across American Falls Reservoir hitting about 25 to 35 miles an hour. Some gusts pushing 40 across the Snake Plain into the Magic Valley, especially the lava beds up through the Arco Desert and a few spots on the higher ridges of the central mountains. Those winds start to shift northerly overnight, but we'll see those winds strongest continuing before sunset in pretty similar areas for the Snake Plain and Magic Valley and up into the central mountains. We talked about the potential of a few showers and storms. You don't see much rainfall expected. We might see close to a tenth up around Sawtell Peak overhead if you're headed over Targhee Pass towards West Yellowstone today. Otherwise, just a few hundredths across the area. We can't rule out a storm or two. Then I might produce a pretty good, brief but strong downpour today. And we're looking, like we said, a few hundredths. The only places where we might see a chance of seeing over a tenth of an inch, we talked about up around Island Park. That chance is between 20 and 30%. And down across this Bear Lake area, that chance is barely pushing 20% down there as well. Otherwise, we're into summer, and that means a lot of this activity is not going to be producing the huge rainfall amounts we've seen over the past several weeks with spring here in central and eastern Idaho. For tomorrow, we back it off a degree or two in most locations. Some areas, based on where the cloud cover shifts away today, we might warm it up 2 or 3 degrees, maybe a little bit more. Stanley, about 5-degree warm-up versus today based on the current forecast. Humidities tomorrow, we start drying out slowly across the area. More areas seeing humidity below 15%. And there are those northeast winds. And like we said, the threshold for a northeast wind event on American Falls Reservoir is much, much lower. And some of these winds tomorrow pushing 20 miles per hour out of the northeast there, a little stronger out across craters of the moon. We start to warm it back up on Sunday. Low 80s for the Stanley Basin, Mackay 81 as well, but Chalice and Salmon mid-80s. Mid-80s to near 90 degrees across the Snake Plain and Magic Valley, especially heading over to the Treasure Valley, will be well into the 90s, down towards the Utah border. Folks down in the lower elevations, mid to upper 80s as well. We continue to dry out. A little bit warmer. We're seeing a few more 90s creeping into the picture on Monday. Low to mid-90s from Pocatello westward. If you're headed towards Boise, there might be the potential of seeing temperatures over close to the triple-digit mark by Monday and Tuesday. Going into Monday, the humidity continues to dry out under the ridge, at least the surface humidity. Temperatures continue to warm a degree or two on Tuesday. Like we said, heading into the Treasure Valley over towards Boise, much warmer conditions, but a few more low to mid-90s creeping up on Tuesday. And then after that, we will probably cool off a bit as we get a little more cloud cover for the middle part of next week with at least a small potential of showers and thunderstorms at that point. But like we said, a few more showers and storms today. Some of these storms may produce gusty winds, maybe a little bit of small hail and a pretty strong downpour. Otherwise, we're not expecting much rainfall with activity again today. Otherwise, with this system sweeping through, we do have some gusty winds, especially across the Magic Valley, Snake Plain into the higher elevations of the Central Mountains. Once we cool down today and tomorrow, we're going to see more 90s across the region for the first part of next week. We'll just have to see how things go in terms of if we're going to run into excessive heat issues for folks here in central eastern Idaho. Otherwise, have a great day. Have a great weekend, and do stay safe out there, everyone.